Salut! In this video, you will find out about les verbes pronominaux or reflexive verbs. Qu'est-ce que c'est? What are these reflexive verbs? Un verbe pronominal is a verb where the action is done to yourself. The best example will be the verbs we use to describe the daily routine, such as I wake up or I wake myself up, I get dressed or I'll dress myself, I wash myself, you wake yourself up, etc. Just like in English, the French equivalent will also express it with a pronoun to highlight that the action is done to ourselves. This pronoun is actually the reason why we call this type of verb les verbes pronominaux. In pronominaux, you've got pronoun. Or we also call them in English the se verb. Se being the pronoun. However, in French, the pronoun is part of the verb se lever, which is to get up. Lever is a different verb, so se is very important and make it the verb to get up. Se will be placed before the verb, like se réveiller, to wake up, se lever, to get up, se laver, to wash yourself or to get washed. And at the infinitive or the conjugated form, the verb will carry this pronoun. How do they work? It's pretty easy. There is one rule to apply, which will work whatever tense you want and whatever verb you need. The rule is that the pronoun will need to adapt itself to the person the action is happening to. Let's have a look at our document on your downloadable material. The pronoun needed for je, for example, will be me, which is the equivalent of myself in English. For tu, we will use te, T-I. For il, elle, and for on, we will use se, S-I. Now for nous, we will use nous. I know it looks a little bit strange, but it's what it is. For vous, it will be the same. We'll use again vous. Finally, for il with an S and elle with an S, we will have se again, S-I. So, for each form of the verb, you will need to add the appropriate pronoun, and this before the verb, like je me lève, I get up. Tu te lèves, for you get up. Il se lève, then we'll have nous, nous levons, vous, vous levez, and finally, il se lève, for they get up. I have added a little list of useful verb pronominaux for you to keep close by, so you can refer to them whenever you need. Now, you need to remember the pronouns corresponding to each person or to each pronoun subject. Je, so me for je, te for tu, etc. And once you know that and you remember that, you can do anything you want. The only little difficulty will be when using the verb pronominal with a two-verb structure. So, I have dedicated our last page of this downloadable material to explain how it works with a two-verb structure. The idea is to place the pronoun before the verb when the verb is conjugated, like in the case of the passé composé, if we wanted to say I went for a walk, which to go for a walk is se promener, we will have je me suis promené. So me will be before suis. It will be placed just before the conjugated verb suis. Let's now see where we should put this pronoun when using a two-verb structure with infinitive, such as the near future, the conditional, or the modal verb. For example, je vais me promener. You will put me after the verb. So you need to keep the infinitive and the pronoun together. Me promener. Same with modal verbs or conditional tense. Je veux me promener et je peux me promener for the modal verb. So me will stay with the verb promener. And same for je voudrais me promener for the conditional tense. Again, the pronoun will stay with infinitive. Me promener. Also, have a look at where the negation word ne and pas should be placed in the sentence. Let's start with the passé composé again. I didn't go for a walk will be je ne me suis pas promené. Ne will be placed just after the subject pronoun je in this example, and pas will be after the conjugated verb. So ne pas will sandwich the first verb including the reflexive pronoun, in this case me suis. So we'll sandwich me and suis. So we will have je ne me suis pas promené. In the case of the second verb structure, including an infinitive, the pronoun will stay before the infinitive, so they stay together, and it won't change anything about our negation sentence or structure. So the ne pas will sandwich the first verb, and which will be vais in I am not going for a walk. Je ne vais pas me promener. I am not going for a walk, so we sandwich vais and me promener stay together. Voilà, this will conclude your lesson on les verbes pronominaux. I hope you've enjoyed it and that it helped. Let's see how you will do in the quiz. Bravo, à plus tard dans ma prochaine vidéo. Merci.